This is VJ English with Fun, ready to level up your English. Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something I think a lot of you grapple with on your English journey. We're talking about grammar mistakes, but maybe not in the way you usually think about them.
Absolutely. We're looking at this through a really relatable story. It's about a woman named Emma and how she tackled English grammar, specifically by, learning to use her mistakes, not just hate them.
Right. So our mission here is to unpack Emma's story. We want to pull out the key lessons, the strategies she used, and importantly, the mindset shifts that helped her, because they can definitely help you.
Yeah, and the core idea is kind of interesting, actually. She didn't just get better despite making mistakes. In many ways, the mistakes were why she got better. Each one was like a little lesson waiting to happen.
That's a great way to put it. So let's dive in. Where does Emma's story really begin? It starts with something pretty stressful. Yeah. Her first big job interview in a foreign country. And she's nervous, but it's not really about her skills. It's her English grammar she's worried about.
Ah, okay. And we find out she learned English kind of casually, right? Like maybe music, movies, chatting online, which is great for getting comfortable speaking.
But not always great for nailing down the tricky grammar rules.
Yeah.
She'd mix up tenses, maybe forget articles. The common stuff like saying, she go to office yesterday instead of went, or he have many works, things many learners struggle with.
Totally relatable. So she knew she made these mistakes, but they just kept slipping out. And this interview for an English-speaking company, it felt like a huge deal. Like one wrong verb could sink her chances.
Exactly. But then her friend Maya gives her this advice. It sounds simple, but it's profound. Speak slow, stay calm, and if you make a mistake, fix it with confidence. It's that last bit.
A confidence.
That's the kicker. And then there's this small moment. It really crystallizes things for Emma. She's typing a quick thank you note to Maya, and she types out, "I will doing my best."
Ah, a classic one.
Right. But she pauses. She sees it. And she changes it right then and there to, "I will do my best."
And that little correction, it sparks something.
A huge realization. She gets it. Fixing grammar isn't about showing up perfect. It's about being present when you communicate, paying attention, and, having the guts to fix things on the fly.
So she takes this idea straight into her interview prep. She quickly reviews her biggest grammar hangups, stuff like subject-verb agreement.
Making sure the verb matches the subject.
Yeah.
Like she writes, not she writes.
Or keeping verb tenses consistent. If you start in the past, stay in the past. I went, not suddenly I go, and articles knowing a versus the.
Exactly. She drills these a bit, maybe says them out loud, then comes the interview. And here's the thing. She's not suddenly perfect. She still slips up.
But she uses Maya's advice.
She does. She catches herself. Like she starts saying, "I'm excited," but then adjusts, maybe for formality, I am excited to be here. She makes other little errors, but corrects them calmly right away.
And the interviewer actually notices this.
Yes, and this is so key. They actually say something like, "I like how you fix your own grammar. It shows you're always learning."
Wow. So it wasn't about perfection at all.
Not one bit. It was about showing she was an active learner, aware, willing to improve. She got the job, the story makes clear, not because her grammar was flawless, but because that attitude towards learning impressed them.
What a fantastic start. And that experience, getting the job because she showed she could learn from mistakes, that really fuels her next move, doesn't it? This famous notebook.
It really does. The morning after, she's thinking about those mistakes, but the feeling is different now. Not shame, but curiosity. And she decides right then mistakes aren't enemies, they're teachers. She starts her notebook of mistakes and how to fix them.
And it's not just generic rules, right? It's built from her actual mistakes.
Exactly. Super personal. She starts with that first one, I will doing my best, crosses it out, writes, I will do my best, and then the why. After will, use the base verb. Simple, clear.
She adds others from the interview, like, she have a strong opinion.
Corrected to, she has a strong opinion. Rule. He, she gets has in the present.
And that common one, I am agree.
Yeah, that becomes I agree. Why? Because agree is a verb. You don't need am like you do with adjectives like happy or tired.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't say I am run, right? Same idea.
As she fills this notebook, she starts seeing patterns, doesn't she? Like where the mistakes are coming from.
Definitely. She realizes a lot stem from, well, literally translating from Spanish, her native language, or just old habits. So it tells her it's not just about rules, it's about changing ingrained ways of thinking and speaking.
And it becomes like a habit, almost a hobby.
Kind of. And it shifts her whole perspective. It's not about seeing red marks anymore. It's about tracking progress. She organizes it, articles here, prepositions there, tenses.
And she even has a funny mistakes section. I love that.
Yeah, like saying, I did a picture instead of I drew a picture. It keeps it light, makes it memorable, takes the pressure off.
And this personal tool starts to ripple outwards, right? She shares it.
She does. She starts a small grammar group at work. They share their notebooks, fix sentences together. It builds connection.
And her manager notices.
Positively. Comments on the great team spirit it fosters.
So the very thing that made her feel nervous and isolated her grammar ends up helping her connect with people. That takeaway is huge. Mistakes are not failures. They are bridges to better English.
It just completely changes the game, doesn't it? From
Yeah.
fear to opportunity.
Okay, so the notebook is amazing for understanding why mistakes happen, but knowing isn't enough. The next part of her journey is all about practice, practice, practice.
Exactly right. The notebook's the blueprint, but you got to build the house. So she starts practicing sentences aloud, straight from her notebook, simple ones first.
Like, I am happy. They are ready.
He goes to school. She has a dog. Things like that. Saying them out loud starts connecting the correct grammar to the sound, the rhythm of English. It makes it feel more real than just reading a rule.
And she identifies a personal challenge, too, rushing when nervous.
Yeah, that's a big one for many people. So she creates this little mantra for herself. Speak slowly. Think clearly. Fix mistakes as they come. It's about being conscious and patient with herself.
And she uses this in real situations, like meetings.
Totally. She makes a point of listening carefully, maybe repeating key points back, but deliberately slower. And if she slips up, says something like, should focuses, she just calmly corrects it. Should focus. And apparently, her team appreciated that honesty.
Each correction builds confidence. You can see that. And reading helps, too.
Oh, hugely. She starts reading more widely books, even Jane Austen, apparently, newspapers. She doesn't just read passively, though. She looks for interesting grammar, writes down sentences that confuse her, looks them up, and then tries writing her own sentences using that structure, seeing grammar used in context, in stories.
Makes it stick better than isolated drills.
Yeah.
And watching shows with subtitles.
Another great way to hear natural, everyday grammar in action.
Plus journaling in English. Connecting grammar to her own thoughts.
Right. Writing things like, today I met new people. We discussed the plan. I think we should focus on step 1. I will keep practicing speaking slowly. It reinforces the grammar in a really meaningful way.
But the big lesson here, the story really stresses, is patience.
Absolutely critical. English learning is a marathon. Mistakes will happen, They're not setbacks. They're the curriculum, basically.
And this approach makes learning feel exciting, not like a chore. It's about building a new voice.
Exactly. It's creative, ultimately.
So, notebook, practice, patience, what else? Her story then kind of codifies things into specific strategies that really move the needle for her.
Yeah, she distilled her experience into a practical system. Strategy 1, listen carefully. Really tune in to how native speakers use grammar naturally in podcasts, conversations, movies. Hearing patterns like subject-verb agreement repeatedly helps you internalize them.
Like your brain just starts to expect he doesn't, not he don't, after hearing it enough.
Precisely. Strategy 2, slow down when speaking. That personal rule she made, pause, think, speak. It just gives your brain that crucial split second to choose the right word or structure. Avoids those impulsive errors.
Makes sense. Number 3.
Correct yourself immediately. Don't just ignore a mistake. Stopping and fixing it, like changing "she don't like pizza," right, to "she doesn't like pizza," cements the correct form in your memory. Plus, it signals to others and yourself that you're actively learning.
Builds confidence too, I bet. What's 4?
Use visual aids. Grammar can be abstract, so making little charts, maybe color-coding verb tenses or using tables for articles, it makes the rules more concrete, easier to grasp and remember, turning rules into pictures, essentially.
Clever. And the last one.
Practice with real sentences. Forget generic textbook exercises. Focus on practicing the kinds of sentences you actually use or need for emails, for chatting, for telling your stories. Makes the practice immediately relevant.
These are pretty straightforward, but together they sound powerful.
They really are, especially when used consistently. And she shares these with her grammar group, too. We even hear from her friend Carlos, saying how simple but useful they are.
And her mindset around this is key. Fixing grammar mistakes is not about being perfect. It's about being brave, patient, and smart. Mistakes aren't walls. They're signs pointing the way.
That perspective changes everything, and it sets her up for her next big challenge, the presentation.
Ah, yes, the client presentation. Public speaking. High stakes again.
Definitely. The fear of making mistakes in front of a client, it's real for her.
But she uses her strategies, right? She doesn't just hope for the best.
No way. She prepares meticulously, writes the script, checks the grammar carefully, reads it aloud slowly, clearly, practices correcting herself during rehearsal. She even records herself.
Gets feedback from her grammar group, too. That support system is important.
Crucial. And she keeps reminding herself of that core idea. Mistakes are bridges. This presentation is just another bridge to cross.
So how does it go?
Really well. She keeps her pace slow and steady. If a small error pops up, she corrects it calmly. No big fuss.
And the outcome?
The audience is engaged, she gets applause, and importantly, her manager praises her improvement specifically.
That must have felt amazing. A real testament to her approach.
Absolutely. It proves that tackling grammar is about courage, practice, and believing in yourself, not just memorizing rules.
And that success fuels something new in her, doesn't it? A desire to help others who are where she used to be.
Exactly. Her journey shifts towards sharing. She starts volunteering at a community center, working with English learners. And she gets it. She sees their embarrassment, their fear of mistakes.
But she doesn't just teach rules, she shares her story.
That's the key difference. She talks about her own struggles, her notebook, her strategies. It makes her instantly relatable.
And she introduces her practical methods. Reading aloud, journaling, the mistake notebook.
Yes, encouraging them to try what worked for her. And the students respond incredibly well. We hear from one, Maria, saying Emma's story makes her feel brave enough to speak, even if she makes mistakes.
It's come full circle. Helping others actually reinforces her own skills.
And builds this wonderful supportive community. The core message rings true again. every mistake is a stepping stone.
Which leads us to maybe the most profound lesson from Emma's entire journey, the mindset shift, really embracing mistakes.
Yes, seeing them not as failures, but as necessary, natural parts of learning, like signposts pointing to what needs attention next. Her journal entry captures it. Mistakes are not my enemies, they are my teachers.
That change builds real confidence. Not fake I'm perfect confidence, but the solid confidence of knowing you can learn, you can improve, you're patient with yourself.
And her understanding of language evolves too. She sees grammar isn't just rigid rules, it adapts. Formal email grammar is different from casual chat grammar.
She's still learning, still practicing, but the story says she does it with joy now, not fear.
And there's that great little anecdote where even her fluent friend makes a slip up, says, I have went, gets gently corrected to I went, and Emma just thinks, thanks, I'm still learning. It normalizes it. Everyone makes mistakes. Learning is ongoing.
It's a lifelong adventure, really. Fixing grammar became part of her becoming her best self.
And looking ahead, she reflects on her journey, right? Looking through that notebook.
Yeah, seeing the transformation recorded there. From shy and afraid to confident presenter and helper.
And accepting that her English is always going to be a work in progress. There's no final destination in language learning.
But understanding that the mistakes weren't roadblocks. They were the path. They shaped her.
Exactly. They open doors. She feels ready for the future, summed up in that powerful journal entry. Every mistake is a step forward. I am a learner, and I am proud.
That self-acceptance is huge. But wait, there's more. The story shows how learning English literally opened up a new life for her.
Right. It wasn't just about the job. She gets asked to co-host a language and culture night at the community center. Even bigger public speaking challenge.
Nerves again, I imagine. Oh, yeah.
But she says yes. Prepares like crazy script, tricky grammar points like prepositions, practicing key phrases like, we are honored to welcome.
But something shifts in her preparation.
Yeah. Closer to the event, she kind of stops worrying obsessively about mistakes and focuses more on the purpose, making people feel welcome, creating connection.
And on the night?
Nerves are there, but she pushes through. She even has a noticeable stumble, says, we are proud, but corrects it calmly, just like she learned.
And the audience reaction.
They smile with her. They see her humanity, her effort. She realizes it's not just about hosting, it's about connecting.
Her vulnerability resonates. A student tells her afterwards, seeing her gives them hope.
And walking home, she has this beautiful insight. Grammar is important. But courage is what carries the words.
Wow. And this experience, this desire to connect and empower, leads her to actually become a teacher.
It does. She feels that pull, but also that doubt. Who am I to teach? But she flips it. Her struggle is her strength. She gets it. She has empathy.
So she gets formal training, a TEFL course.
Yep. Dives into the technical stuff, past perfect, continuous, zero conditional. It's tough. But she sees how it helps her explain things better. Reminds herself every teacher starts as a student.
And she uses her own story-based, practical approach in her lesson plans.
Totally. Her lesson on subject-verb agreement uses stories, visuals, practice, even her funny mistakes. Authenticity wins.
She becomes an official teacher, first class.
Nerves, but seeing the students calms her. She knows they need realness, not perfection. Her opening words say it all. I know how it feels, but today we're going to turn that fear into confidence together.
Amazing journey, and it culminates in her sharing this message even more widely.
Yeah, the final phase is reaching learners everywhere. She starts a blog, a YouTube channel called Mistakes Made Me Fluent.
Perfect title. Yeah. And her style is key.
Slow, clear, accessible, and crucially authentic. She leaves in her own mistakes in the videos, pauses, explains the correction, like he go to work, oops, should be he went to work, past tense.
And people connect with that honesty.
Instantly, comments flood in. Thought I was the only one. This gives me hope. Thanks for not being afraid to show mistakes.
She builds this community where mistakes aren't shameful, they're celebrated learning moments.
And the impact is real. A message from Brazil. I almost gave up. Your story saved me. It shows her it's about connection, courage, compassion, persistence.
So the final takeaway isn't just about grammar rules at all.
Not fundamentally. It's about the confidence you build, the connections you make through the process of learning and being brave enough to make mistakes.
Emma's story just illustrates it so powerfully. Improving grammar isn't about achieving some mythical state of perfection. It's really about having the courage to keep practicing, the patience to stick with it, and learning how to turn those inevitable errors into your best teachers.
Exactly. And your journey with English, listening right now, it's built the same way. One sentence, one correction you notice, one moment you decide to speak up, even if you're not 100% sure. That's how it happens.
So whatever grammar point feels like your mountain to climb right now, whatever mistake keeps tripping you up, Emma's story shows there's a way through, grounded in real experience.
Think about it. Could that mistake you make most often actually be your most valuable lesson trying to get your attention? What one thing could you focus on, analyze like Emma did, and turn into a teacher starting, today?
Yeah, what's one mistake you could tackle? And hey, let's build our own little community here, like Emma did.
Great idea.
In the comments below this deep dive, why not share one English mistake you've made and what you learned from fixing it? Let's learn from each other.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this really inspiring look at Emma's journey.
Yeah, it was great. Keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll be back soon with another deep dive.